Welcome to the Diary of a Ghost Hunter podcast with your frightfully good hosts and paranormal investigators, Anne and Renata. Join the chaos weekly as we tell you what has inspired us, what cases we're investigating, what is driving us round the twist, and the true horror of what goes on in the background of being a ghost hunter. This is a frightfully good production.
Hey everyone, welcome to something very, very new from Anne and Renata Frightfully Good, The Diary of a Ghost Hunter.
Yeah, Renata came up with this brilliant title and I was saying we need to do something else. So this is coming across now in a YouTube format and also on the podcast as well as a brand new one.
That's right.
And what's it going to be about?
Look, it's going to be about everything that is to do with ghost hunting and being a paranormal investigator in this day and age. So it'll include things like some of the tours that we have done over the past week or two, some of the things that we have learnt or that we're really interested in, like the theme of the moment, whatever that might be, whether we've done any interviews, and we actually just finished one with the beautiful Ian Roth from America, so we can talk a little bit about our little extra bonus that we got at the end, a spiritual message. Look, it's going to be about book reviews, so things that we have come across for our own podcasts and things that we're doing, plus if there's any juicy gossip or anything that's going on. So this is kind of like an in-depth, behind-the-scenes view, gritty, hardcore
Poop. There's poop that goes on with it as well, let me tell you.
Poop that we deal with. And look, I hope it's something that you guys can listen to really easily, as you know, that thing that tells you more about who we are. Because sometimes we put a persona on when we're doing the podcast. We're putting a persona on when we do our tours, because we have to be in this professional zone.
Yep.
But here we're just going to...
So we're going to try and be a little bit vulnerable. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So first off, my name is Anne Rekovich and I am a paranormal investigator. For those who haven't met us before, I've been doing this now for about 10 or 11 years. I worked at Q Station Manly running ghost tours, or not ghost tours, the paranormal investigator experience there for about 6 years and absolutely fell in love with the place. And then I teamed up with this one and we ended up filming a TV series over there called The Space Between with the gorgeous Biassies. And now we are doing ghost tours together, the Frightfully Good experience. We've got our T-shirts on, as you do. And we're just finding that we're multi-skilling and having to step out of our comfort zone, and we're doing podcasts and we're doing live shows, and there's craziness going on all around us, and we just want to share with you some of that craziness. So I'm also learning to tap into being a psychic medium, which I don't really like. I don't like to say that, but I read the oracle cards that we created, and sometimes things come true, and it's like, don't want to own that.
Yeah, and I'm Renata Daniel. I have been a working psychic for 30 years. I've also done other jobs. So being a psychic was a sideline that I did. And of course, you know, the whole thing about, you know, turning on your psychic abilities on the weekend and maybe doing psychic fairs or working at a shop, new age store where you were sort of being a psychic and that sort of stuff. So it was a whole mix of doing real jobs, as people will call them, real jobs, and then sometimes dipping into that psychic side. I did, for a period of time, run a very small new age shop with another person, and we were desperately scrabbling for finances. So we decided to go into the whole ghost hunting thing, because in our area no one was doing it at that time. And it turned out to be this thing that just overcame me and overcame our business, and it was just too much for both of us to handle. So we decided to split the business, and my business partner at that time took the new age shop and I took the ghost hunting, and it's sort of been something that has been going now. On the 9th of November this year, which is in a couple of weeks' time, it will be the 12th year that my business exists. So I'm very proud of that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to sort of show you a little bit what happens in our week. So, what's been happening this week?
Well, it's Sunday, number one,
Yep.
and we are probably in our 4th or 5th hour of working, so there kind of isn't a weekend. I think our weekends are Mondays, maybe Mondays or Tuesdays. Other than that, literally, we are flat out.
And this is through choice. We love it.
Going, 5 days a week normally, if not more. And today we got together because we had an interview with Ian Roth from America, which it ended up being a lot longer than we had hoped, because we were going to also do this, and we were also going to record a podcast.
True Hauntings.
It's kind of not going to happen, everything, because we then have to come back tonight and do a radio show at 8 o'clock from 8 till 10.
Yep.
And thank goodness that's prepared.
Yep.
We're ready for that. But that's kind of our Sundays.
And yesterday we had a meeting. We went and had a breakfast meeting with Isaac and Claire Butterfield in regards to a live show that we're going to be doing with them at Maitland Jail. So that was like another couple of hours in the morning. We're going to go for a ride in Isaac's new car.
And then we went out to Stroud and did a tour out there. So we got home at about 10:30.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, 10:30.
No, it was later than 10:30. I was home by about 11, I think, maybe 11:30.
And look, it doesn't happen like that every week, but most weeks.
Most weeks. And in between, like we've been, because we did record a True Hauntings episode on Friday, was it? I think it was Friday. That seems so long ago. We've tried to turn around another one really quickly so that we could record it today, because we're going to New Zealand in 3 weeks. So we have to get ahead. We've got to have enough in the can so that there's one from when we're away, one for when we get back, and then we can hopefully record one the week after. But we have to record Spooky Sundays as well, so we've got to do a show for that.
Yeah.
Now, in the interview with Ian, there was something that came up that made me have a penny drop moment. I wanted to share it with everyone.
Yep, sure.
We were talking about how in the paranormal field, it's very heavily masculine. Lots of buff young men, or not always buff. There's quite a few of us out there, well, not us, but a few of them that like their burgers as well. And it's very dominated by the males, and they all seem to be finding demons, dark energies, witches, because, as you said, it sells.
It sells. And it follows a formula that has been used for a really long time, in that there has to be a hero. It's an archetype. And the hero is, for many, a lead ghost hunter who is out there showing the world that they can save everyone by battling the dark energies out there. And that's nothing new.
No.
It's in our fairy tales. It's in our stories.
Yeah, and
it's in our mythology.
I had this moment where I said, it's just like the medieval ages where the knights were going out to fight dragons to show their masculinity and their worth, and they were going to protect the realm and protect the poor and protect the castle and the princess. And has it really changed? It's just they've now changed it from dragons to demons.
Yeah. And look, that's kind of half the story. I think it's more than half the story. But the other thing is too, and anyone who's followed shows like this will see that there has been a real lift when it comes to the whole demonic and dark energies theme in these shows. I mean, none of these shows show these people going into a home and rescuing grandma, who's been sitting on the couch going, "You should clean up your room," and throwing dishes and things around because they're doing.
Laugh. We've got a ghost here that doesn't like the mess.
Yeah, because they're doing weird ass things in the house, and you're trying to get rid of grandma. You wouldn't call grandma a demonic spirit.
Yeah, grandma won't be happy if you call her demonic. I wouldn't blame her for scratching you.
So it's like they cover nothing else in that realm of spirit energy other than the dark things? Like there are no other spirits that exist. I mean, are they then in the realm of just the mediums that are out there, and the mediums deal with the nice little energies, the sweet ones that want to come and talk to you? And these big buff guys go in, with their 100 kilos of gear.
They're pelican cases.
Going in and getting all the demons and everything. And I've seen some shows, and I've been screaming at the the TV, going, "Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you
There's been
doing?"
some swear words in there too.
Oh, so that's been really interesting. That little moment in time where we kind of put that together. And as people who are watching this, maybe you can chime in and say, do you think that is a thing? Is that a theme when you think about this? That it is a fight of the hero, the good against evil, and that's what's drawing us in? Because let's face it, percentage-wise, it's women who follow these teams. It's not men, it's women. So let us know what you think,
And we find it very hard to compete with the YouTube TV series that are out there, where they're always finding demons. There's always dark energies, and the watchers are throwing money at them left, right, and centre, going, "Oh my God, you people are amazing!" And I honestly believe that they're hamming it up so they can get your coin. I really do. Maybe they believe it. I don't know, but
then it's got to really be stressed that it's not.
And if you want to pay for that entertainment, that's okay. It's entertainment.
Yeah. But let's talk about it as entertainment. We're going in here to see what we can get, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be scary, and we're going to scare ourselves stupid, and never been here before, and it's going to be really dark, and it's funky inside, and all of this.
But you can't do that with a private case.
No, you can't. No.
Absolutely
not. No. So, let us know what you think about that, whether you think that might be a thing that's actually going on. That doesn't mean we're going to change anything that we do, but it would be really interesting to maybe do one episode where we do all of that and see what happens.
I don't think I can bring myself to do it. I really don't. I think that would just go so against my grain that it would be really obvious that I'm an actor. I am an actor. I have been a professional actor. I gave it all up so that I could pursue this career. But it would go against my heart. I don't know if I could be that good of an actor.
Well, you never know until you give it a go. Maybe you want to see us do a show where just one episode where we really just go in and go whole hog. We're going to scare ourselves to absolute death. And that might mean we have to go in separately and film things.
But we don't get scared.
I don't know. I get unnerved going through Maitland Jail on my own.
Oh, do you?
I do. I have to brace myself when I go through some of those areas on my own.
I don't think I'd like going Sea Wing by myself. There's something about Sea Wing that really, even before I was into all of this, I found it quite disturbing. I don't know why, because it wasn't really... Oh, they did have the insane cells in there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe it's that energy that I'm picking up on. I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, I had a book arrive in the mail this week. I am, and Renata is too, rescuers of books. We can't seem to help ourselves. If we see a book in a second-hand bookshop somewhere, we just have to buy them. But I did a course last year with the University of Edinburgh, which was the Introduction to Parapsychology, and every now and then they will mention books that are very useful, and this was one of them. And it's called Phone Calls from the Dead. And it was written by D. Scott Rogo and Raymond Bayliss. And it's the results of a 2-year investigation into an incredible phenomena. And this is where you would get phone calls. And actually, I think one of the case we're going to record for True Hauntings, we had some examples of these phone calls from the dead. Or phone calls from an entity. So there have been instances, and I know that we've played some of the recordings before, where Konstantin Radive rang from the other side after he passed and left a message on a phone machine, but he also spoke to a lady and was giving... It sounded almost robotic when you hear his voice.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating.
Yep.
Really fascinating. So...
And we're kind of talking about a time when the technology isn't like it is now, where you could do all of that stuff or try and mimic it and make it sound real when it's not. So, when you're looking at something that happened around the 1930s and 1940s, it's harder to falsify than it is now. Everything's so easy to falsify now. How do you know whether something is real or really happened or not?
Well, I mean, this particular one I think was from the 70s.
Okay.
And it was back in the days when you had a cassette phone machine and you'd have a little tape in there and they would record it. I'd have to check to tell you what the exact date was. But, they recognised it as his voice and he was giving them messages on what it was like on the other side and things they needed to do. But if you just search on YouTube, you will find the phone calls from Constantine Raudive. So it's Raudive from memory. I find that stuff fascinating.
And the thing is that it still happens today. So people will still get messages on their mobile phones arriving after that person has passed over. So
although that could be our Australian network.
Yeah, it could be. But, that is really weird, really weird. I had a case that I went to where someone was getting messages using the... not the fax machine, but the photocopier.
Oh, like the printer?
The printer, yeah. And a few words would appear out of nowhere on the printer. And the piece of paper would come out of the printer with those words on it when no one had touched print. So that's really weird.
But could that be someone accessing their Wi-Fi and... Did they have their Wi-Fi encrypted and locked down and
I don't know.
Password activated? See, this is all stuff before we knew any of that stuff.
Yeah,
That would be a fun trick to do to someone, wouldn't it? To just start sending fax messages.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, but I'm naughty.
So, there are plenty of examples of this all around the world. And I'm not quite sure whether there would be more nowadays from mobile phones and things, or whether it was just a time period where this was happening. Because we're talking with this particular book that a lot of this was happening when you had the old-fashioned sets.
Machines.
Yeah, so that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and that was the rotodial. Is that what they called it when you dialed the number, or you pushed the buttons on the phone rather than the touch screens that we have for everything now?
So let us know how that goes when you're reading it.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not going to read it, but I've rescued the book. But I know that that one is hard to come by, so I had it on a wait list because I buy my books from a place called Thrive, Thrive. Is that right?
Thrift.
No, Thrift. I'm getting confused with someone else. Thrift books, and they will have lots of second-hand books that need rescuing at a fraction of the cost of buying them new. But this is one that's no longer in print. So, I'll try to read at least a chapter of it for our next episode so I can give you a bit of a report on anything that I find in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to keep me accountable now, isn't it?
It is.
Don't know if I like that.
It'll keep us reading. I keep on saying to myself when I go to bed, I'll just read a chapter. And then after 45 minutes of scrolling through TikTok, I realise I haven't even touched a book and I'm so tired now I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do normal, just fun reading or fun flipping through stuff because everything we seem to do is associated with the research that we're doing with regard to the stories we're looking at. And there are multiple stories that we look at every week.
Yeah, and I struggle time-wise because... I'm caring for my elderly father as well, and he has lots of doctor's appointments and got to take him shopping and then trying to find time to research and then making sure I've got time for my children, which are now adults and grandchildren. And, I find it really hard to balance my time, and then I'll finally sit down and get some work done, and then my husband comes home and I feel like I've got to go and sit with him. So... It's a struggle because every part of my being just wants to be in here 24/7. I don't think that's actually a good thing. We've got to
it's
get into
quite it's quite an obsession.
Yeah, you got to get into the mundane world occasionally to ground yourself.
And do the dishes because no
no.
other bugger's doing them. So you've got to do the dishes. And
Housework is not my thing.
you got to put the washing on the line and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
So what have we got planned for the week coming?
Well, we have we've still got to do a podcast episode.
Spooky Sundays tonight.
Spooky Sundays tonight. We've got another probably podcast episode that we have to really look at what the next thing is. I think we're pretty much on track with that.
I did make a list, but this one keeps finding other things and going,
look at this!
How about we do this?
This is really interesting.
Shiny, bright things, squirrel!
Let's look at that one. That's really good. And we've got a poltergeist. This is a really interesting poltergeist case.
It is an interesting one. And I always like to dig for nuggets of gold. And I found a nugget of gold. I think I have found one. I'll do a bomb drop at the end of the episode. Remember last time I did a bomb drop was in front of a live audience?
Do we have a seance this week?
We've got Erin's special event at the Newcastle Museum.
Yes.
So this is with CEDAH, C-D-A-H.
Yeah. Now, interesting, because people think that, when you walk in and you go, oh, I'm a ghost hunter, open your doors because I want to come and investigate.
You've got a haunted location. We've got every right to be here and investigate.
It does not happen.
No.
It doesn't happen.
No.
And I've found it really interesting that we're going back to the Newcastle Museum because I did do a little bit of work there many years ago. I remember doing a talk there where I brought in some of my haunted objects, and I was faced. There were other people there as part of this particular talk. I was scared shitless.
Darling.
I was absolutely scared shitless. I brought all of these things out, and I started talking, and all I had was just like deadly silence.
Oh no!
Just deadly silence.
Were they just that into it, or
no?
They
were just looking at me as if I'd dropped off another planet.
It's a weird woman.
And I'm trying to be animated, and getting them interested. Look at this! Look at this! Skull thing that I've got here. It's made from human skin, and it's got all tattooy things all over it and whatever. And look how fantastic this is. And I'm telling them the story, and they're just going, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
They're looking at their watches, going, "How much longer? God, get her off." It wasn't your people.
Yeah. But I tried. Oh, I remember. Yes, I tried to do a tour there, and they had. Yes, it was the first tour that we had right there. And number one, they got complaints that the museum should be putting on such an atrocious event as ghost hunting. How cheesy and how horrible that they do that, number one.
Oh,
right?
well, there's some people with some biased opinions.
How dare the museum, which is supposed to be intellectual and up here, put on a ghost tour.
Let me put my pinky up while I have a cup of tea.
And then you had the other people that said, can I bring my 3-year-old?
Oh.
Can I bring my 3-year-old? Or can I bring my 5-year-old? Leave them with you and I'll come back and pick them up at the end. Now, we put a designated age group and said it's from this age onwards, and yet people were ringing up saying, can I, my 5-year-old loves ghost hunting.
They watch all the TV shows.
Yeah, they know everything about it.
They're right into it.
Can I come in and leave them? Leave them. And I've gone, no.
I wouldn't even let them come in supervised.
And the whole thing got so convoluted and so out of whack that I had to end up cancelling it. We never did one.
Oh, no.
We never went ahead and did it. So, yeah. So it's going to be very surprising to get back.
So we might have some PTSD with this one.
Yes.
When we go in on Wednesday night. But that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I know. And we are doing it for a very different thing.
And you are multi-award winning now.
Would I approach them again to do a ghost tour? I think they would have to approach me and ask, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, let's see. Yeah. Let us see how this goes. So, so we're doing it for a disability mob and the lovely Erin is going to be there, our beautiful friend who is an advocate for the disability sector here in the area and is trying hard to incorporate what she loves into what she provides. So it's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be absolute fun.
Yep, and we had to limit it because it was going to be a ticketed event. We had to pull it back and went, no, that's too much.
Yeah.
Let's just go in with a couple of people. So we're allowed to take 2 people, which I mean, I have to talk to you about who are we going to take. And we said to Erin, you have to just limit yours to 2 people as well. So I think she's in at 2 people and a carer for one of the people. So I think we're good to go. We did ask Isaac and Claire whether they'd like to come as our 2 people, but they're going to be in Perth.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's okay.
That's a sad excuse, Isaac and Claire, just saying.
And of course, we've got our big. When you watch this, whenever you're watching this,
I don't even know what I'm
at
gonna
the
put
end
it
of the
up.
week, it is Halloween. So we've got a big night on Friday night where we have our normal Ghost Hunting 101 tour, and then we do our extended overnighter or all-nighter from 11 till 6 a.m. And then the following Monday, which is actually Halloween night, we've got a Halloween event. So there.
Do you remember, Renata,
Oh no.
when we used to go to Wollombi and run the children's Halloween night?
Oh yes, it was horrendous.
Why did we ever do that?
Because we were asked. We
And
were
it
asked
was
to do it.
hot and it was sweaty, and I was forced to dress up in costumes and put weird makeup on and entertain children.
Yeah, and it was
They
a
loved
scream.
it.
It was a scream fest from the word go.
Yep, they all loved it, but my God.
Scream fest. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, this is why we don't do children's tours at the jail.
No. And they promised us loudspeakers and we didn't have any, so we had to yell. And no, I'm not comfortable with that at all.
No, we're booked. We're washing our hair that night. Not that we don't love the community, and the community is wonderful there, but I'm just not suited to running children's events anymore. I was a high school teacher for many years, and I have PTSD over that. Look at you you're all hunched over there, and I feel like I'm towering over you. Anyway, yes. So that's the week ahead.
Yeah.
And so we've got Erin, we've got our tarot show on Thursday night. And I think we've got Maitland Jail on Friday night. We've got the Maitland Jail 101, then the sleepover. We gave ourselves Saturday off. Now, we were meant to go and do Appy's Psychic Expo that they've got at Parramatta Jail. Support that, guys. Go to it. But we realised that we were going to finish our event at 6 a.m. in the morning. By the time we packed up, it would be 7 a.m. after being awake all night, drive to Sydney, and then go straight into setting up an exhibition and manning the stall all day. We're too old for that shit. We'd keel over, die.
Yeah. So,
So, the question is, do you want to hear more of this stuff? Would you like to see us put out an episode? How often are we going to do this? Is it once a week? Oh, once a week? Once a fortnight?
Once
I don't
a
know.
week. Look, there are some weeks where we really do little other than lots of work behind the scenes, getting things ready, getting things organised for podcasts and things that are coming up.
Maybe you can bring in some of your haunted objects. We can talk about some of those.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about our cases that we've done. And
So this is going to be a variety show.
Inspired by Isaac and Claire's
Mum and
Dad show, actually. We thought, let's do that. So if you've got anything you want us to talk about, let us know. We'd love to know. You can email that to Anne, ANNE, at ozparatech, OZPARATECH.com, or just message us on Facebook or from YouTube. We keep an eye on all our socials, so we will be watching for any messages with bated breath, hoping that you've enjoyed this. But we'll be on YouTube. We'll be on the
Anne and Renata Frightfully Good page.
Yeah, but podcast. That's it. Spotify, iTunes, all that sort of stuff. We'll get that uploaded, and let's just see what happens.
Absolutely.
We'll keep doing it for as long as you guys want us to do it. But check out the True Hauntings podcast. Check out the Spooky Sundays podcast and show. We're always doing so much. We love what we do, and we did receive a channeled spirit message this afternoon, unexpectedly, from our host from the interview we were just on, saying that they want us to do more.
Yeah,
So here we are, giving it a crack, trying to educate with a smile.
that's right. That's what we're here for. So anyway, that's it
That's
for the first Diary of a Ghost Hunter. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you come back and listen for more. Yes,
Send us
the information. Let us know what you want to hear. We're always up to talk about the things that interest
We
you.
can talk about shit. We're good at that too.
Yeah, as you see.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. See you on the dark side. Stay spooky and...
Don't forget to be frightfully good.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.